got a message. I got a song. Can I get a witness? Tell me what's going on.
As you know, the judge hands down her decision preempting part of SB 1070. Joining us on our Newsmaker line from D.C. is Senator John McCain. Senator McCain, thanks for spending a few minutes with us.
Thanks, Mike. Good to be with you.
We got your press release, and you've expressed your disappointment. Tell us a little bit about what's been said around D.C. about this, and I know that they tried to stop this lawsuit from even happening. What's your take on this?
Well, my take is that the judge made a serious mistake, and we're very disappointed in the ruling. And the thing that's very, very disturbing is that the judge said that, and I'm quoting from her opinion, that if we carried out the Arizona law, it would, quote, will divert resources from the federal government's other responsibilities and priorities. Tell me what responsibilities and priorities would take a higher level of attention and effort than enforcement of our borders and to make sure that our citizens are safe. And so it is clearly a bizarre kind of situation that the state of Arizona, trying to ensure the security of its citizens when the federal government will not carry out its responsibilities, is now somehow in interference with the other, quote, priorities and responsibilities that the federal government has, which, of course, the judge does not enumerate.
You know, and today we know that what Governor Brewer is going to do at the state level with the appeals process and going from there. But on your end, you and Senator Kyle, what's the next step in Washington, D.C., and then, you know, the other members of the congressional delegation, well, at least for the Republicans in the House side? What's next for you? What can we expect from Washington?
Get our 10-point plan in force. Most of the 10-point plan is simply a matter of funds, complete the fence, get the surveillance capabilities, and 3,000 guard to the border, and get our border secure and relieve this situation where there are what are the estimates, Mike? 500,000 people living illegally in the state of Arizona. That's what we've got to bend all our efforts to do, and obviously we support the state of Arizona and the governor's appealing of this decision.
I've heard you say a number of times that elections have consequences, and it's not just, you know, presidential elections that have consequences, but there are some very tight House races, 3 of the top 50 named today here in the state of Arizona. And with all this in mind, what do you think this does for November? What do you think the electorate is going to do because of this in November, especially in the state of Arizona?
The American people and the people of Arizona strongly support the securing of our borders and enforcement of our laws. And I don't have to tell you again that the federal law says that anyone who is in the country legally, but is not a citizen, is required to present identification. I mean, that's what's astounding about this ruling that the judge has made. But the people of Arizona and the people of this country, 60, 70, 80% of the people, depending on how you ask the question, 1, want our border secured, and 2, support what the state of Arizona tried to do because they're aware of the failure of the responsibility of the federal government to carry out its responsibilities. And again, Mike, you know, and people in this country know, that the violence on the other side of the border has turned into a national security issue, not just a border issue, not only a border issue, but a national security issue. A car bomb going off in Juarez, Mexico. You know all the things. The chief of police of Nogales, Arizona, saying they're going to murder his policemen. 21 people murdered 12 miles south of Nogales. The human smuggling and drug smuggling now becoming more and more intertwined. The whole issue is now, how long would it be if we don't get our border secured, that someone who wants to come into our country, our state and our country, crosses our border to do bad things in America and in Arizona? It's a matter of time, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's been the argument. And one last thing I want to ask you, why hasn't, with all the hearings and the president and the administration wanting to listen to what people have to say, why hasn't law enforcement or some of the people, especially in border towns, why haven't people like Sheriff Babu been called on by the White House to at least bend the ear of the White House to get some information on what they are fighting and why they are so supportive of 1070?
Mike, let me give you a little straight talk. This is about the Democrats and the president's effort to sew up the Hispanic vote in the 2012 election. I reluctantly come to that conclusion, but it is now politics, and it's about getting elections and winning elections. And look, I don't blame politics being played. I'm a politician myself. But when we're talking about a national security issue, it's reprehensible.
And it's interesting because with over 70% support here in the state of Arizona for 1070, you can't get to 70% of anything in Arizona without a large group of the Hispanic vote being a part of it. With that in mind, I wonder why they think that. I mean, I think you're absolutely right, but I wonder why they assume that because 1070 is enforcing illegal immigration, that to be against 1070 would somehow sew up the Hispanic vote.
Well, they have portrayed it, of course, totally falsely. The president began this parade when he said you can't take your child out for an ice cream cone in Arizona, and then of course Holder and Napolitano both saying they hadn't read the bill and condemned it first. So this is an orchestrated effort. They know that the largest growing demographic in America is the Hispanic voter, and if they can sew up the Hispanic vote in 2012 and years to come, then that obviously assures their majority. But see, I think Hispanic citizens are as concerned, and will be over time, as concerned about the security of our country as non-Hispanic citizens are. I think they have the same concern about our nation's security, and I think over time that we can make a strong case to the Hispanic community that all of our citizens deserve to live in an environment of safety and security.
Yeah, and the rule of law should stand. And it's a shame that Arizona had to come up with an SB 1070 because of the lack of enforcement from the federal government.
Sure.
But we'll see how it plays out here in the next few months. It's a long way from over, as you know. This is going to go on for a long time. So
it is, but I also want to tell our listeners this is a depressing moment. But you believe in representative government. I believe in representative government. The majority of the American people support what we're trying to do. It is a national security issue, and I believe over time that we will succeed, and we will redouble our efforts to get the 10-point plan completed and get our border secure.
Well, I appreciate the time. I know I called you on short notice, and it's always good to talk with you, Senator McCain, and thanks for some perspective from Washington.
Anytime, Mike.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you. United States Senator John McCain joining us.